Summer never dies quietly. In the old stories, it was stolen, drowned, or torn apart by gods and monsters. Some tales you might already know. Persephone taken into the underworld, while her mother Demeter's grief turns the world to winter. Or Inanna and Dumuzi descending into shadow, leaving the fields to fade and die. But these are not the only stories that explain the end of summer. Across the world, people told of battles and bargains, of gods who fell, and monsters who rose to give meaning to the turning of the year. For every summer must die, and each golden day is borrowed from the deep below. Today, I want to share two stories you may not know, where summer did not sleep quietly away, but was torn down by monsters, storms, and betrayal. In the Northern Isles of Scotland, they spoke of Sea Mither, the mother of the sea. Unlike Persephone or Inanna, Sea Mither was never a goddess in the grand sense. There were no temples nor hymns dedicated to her. But to the people in their parts of the world, they felt her in every soft breeze and calm tide. Islanders and seafarers once whispered her name for protection against evil forces. She's a nurturer of the sea, the protector of its creatures, and a bringer of peace. But her reign was never unchallenged. Just as a daily battle between Ra and Apophis told by the Egyptian, the Sea Mithers faced a struggle with not one, but two eternal foes. From the depths of the ocean rises Teran, her ancient adversary. In Akkadian and Shetland folklore, Teran is a spirit of winter, a malevolent being whose name itself means furious anger in Akkadian dialect. His presence causes the harsh winter conditions, turbulent seas, and the stillness of life. Every spring equinox, the Sea Mither returned with her full strength and challenged Teran in the legendary battle of Volturi, the spring struggle. The clash of the two primal nature deities is no gentle quarrel, and the islanders brace for the equinox gales with faith in their hearts that the mother of the sea will come out victorious. For days, sometimes weeks, the skies darken, the sea roars, and the winds scream with Teran's fury. With every gust she calms, and every swell she soothes, Sea Mither pushes her nemesis back. Eventually, Teran is defeated and cast down to the ocean's abyss. But Teran is not the only troublemaker she has to deal with. Meet Nuckelavee, the most feared of all monsters in the Northern Isles, if not in the whole of Scotland. Imagine a hybrid of a horse and a man, not with the grandeur of a centaur, but a skinless horror born of nightmares. It has an enormous human head with a wide pig-like snout and arms so long they nearly touch the ground, while the horse beneath has a single flaming red eye and fin-like appendages on its legs, black blood flowing through yellow veins visible on its skinless flesh. If Teran's breath caused a winter storm, Nuckelavee's venomous vapor blights crops, and brings plague to cattle, and is equally deadly to humans. It terrorizes in both land and sea, though a witness account indicates the monster's incapability of crossing fresh running water. Only Sea Mither is said to be powerful enough to restrain it. Once she gained control from Teran, the mother of the sea went on to chain Nuckelavee in a cavern beneath the sea. With both destructive forces out of the way, she begins her sacred work. The wind and sea were warm and calm beneath her hands. Life returned to the ocean. Seabirds wailed above the waves in abundance, and greenery appeared throughout the islands. But the season of plenty came at a cost. Each blessing she gave, and each monster she restrained, drained her. By late summer, she grew weary and frail, and struggled to hold or thread at bay. And so, the chains weakened, and come autumn equinox, Nuckelavee rose from the depths, and Teran broke free with his storms to challenge the Sea Mither in a battle referred to as the God of Veles, the Autumn Tumult. The exhausted Sea Mither held on as long as she could, but her fading strength was no match for Teran. At last, the goddess was forced to retreat, and with her gone, Teran's fury overtakes the sky and sea. The summer was lost, and the long, hard months of winter were returning. No one really knows where the Sea Mither goes, only that she'll return in spring in full strength and bless the isles once more. But not all summers are lost in sea battles. Some are betrayed on solid ground, just like our next story of a young god whose rise and fall between two realms shaped the turning of the year. His name is Jarilo. Unlike Sea Mither, whose presence lingers in oral tradition, the story of Jarilo does not survive as a complete ancient tale. What we know of him comes from scholarly interpretations, and pieced together from surviving folk songs, rituals, and traditions across the Slavic world. They say that on Veles, the great night that marks the beginning of the new year, a unique pair of twins was born. One of these twins was Jarilo, the 10th son of Persephone, the supreme god of thunder, and Mokosh, the goddess of the earth. The youngest son of Persephone was destined to bring about a renewal of the season, but the joy of his birth was short, for he was stolen away on this very night by his father's eternal nemesis, Veles. Veles was the god of the underworld, of cattle, magic, and trickery. Where Persephone ruled the sky, Veles dwelled in Navia, the realm of the dead beneath the roots of the war tree, reached only by crossing the furthest ocean water. In contrast to hell and the Christian beliefs, Navia is a paradisiacal place of evergreen plains and eternal spring. There, Veles raised Jarilo as his own son, and the young god grew up guarding the cattle of his adoptive father. Veles is known to steal precious items from Persephone frequently, most notably the thunder god's cattle. But the act of taking his youngest son away was a step too far. The abduction was not only a personal insult, but also a profound disturbance of the natural and divine order, sparking a cosmic war between the Supreme God and his arch-enemy. Around the time of the vernal equinox, a spring thunderstorm, powered by Perun's thunderbolt, marked his victory over the Lord of the Underworld. He announces the end of winter and turmoil caused by Veles, for the young god has returned. Jarilo's presence brought warmth to the soil, a bloom to the fields, and the promise of life renewed. People greeted him with festivals of song, love, and fire, and the earth itself seemed to awaken with him. As he strode across the earth with radiant light and joy, he met Morana, the goddess of nature, and the twin sister he had been separated from at birth. Unaware that they are siblings, Jarilo and Morana fell in love and courted each other throughout the spring. Their marriage during the summer solstice is celebrated across the land. This sacred union of the Supreme God's children brought fertility and prosperity to earth. Cattle fattened, crops flourished, and the realm was not only blessed with a golden season, but also a period of truce between Perun and Veles. However, the harmony cannot last. After the bountiful harvest, Jarilo was found unfaithful to Morana. In grief and vengeance, she strikes him down at harvest end. Jarilo's death brought about the end of summer. His betrayal changed Morana's once loving heart and turned the goddess of nature into the goddess of death, darkness, and winter. The world began its slow descent into darkness, freezing and withering under her chilling reign. But in a world of mythology, gods and monsters do not always live forever, nor do they ever truly die. They were sacrificed and resurrected in a series of rituals and customs, for the wheel of time never stops turning. And the story of Jarilo is just that. Towards the end of winter, Morana is let go. Around the time of the vernal equinox, communities across the Slavic lands carry her straw effigy in procession to a river or lake, then ceremoniously set it aflame and cast it into the water, marking the end of winter's death and paving the way for their beloved god of spring's return in the coming festival. And so the cycle continues, just as the story of the sea Mither. Gods and monsters fall and rise again, and warmth fades and returns. It is a promise of renewal, the beauty of letting go, the joy of return, and the fact that every ending carries the seed of its beginning.